There is no such thing as empty space. All space is filled with energy, the same energy that makes you up and everything else. It is just that your five senses of sight, sound, touch, taste, and smell do not detect the many varied other types of forms that exist in the universe. In other words, you can only detect forms that are detectable with those five senses, unless you have developed other senses. But that does not mean that these humanly detectable forms, physical forms, are the only things that exist in this universe. Think of the universe as a hologram. Anyway, the whole point of this is to know that you are part of one huge ocean of energy, and literally nothing separates you from anything else. The only separation you see is an illusion caused by the limited five senses you have. Quite literally, we are all one. We are one large organic whole whose parts are changing all the time. Each part can look at the other parts, and each part has its own level of consciousness and awareness. Yet, the whole acts exactly as a whole, while the parts act as a part of the whole, with individual and whole properties. Dr. J.S. Bell, a physicist at the European Organization for Nuclear Research, CERN, in Switzerland, came up with mathematical proof in 1964 that showed that all the separate parts of the universe are all connected in an immediate and close way. Many experiments now show that particles separated by space and time somehow know exactly what the other is doing at the exact time the other is doing that particular thing. In other words, they do not communicate. Communication takes time and requires a message. This is different. They know without having to communicate. They act simultaneously, as if they are intimately connected somehow across space and time in a way that does not get affected by the separation in space and time between them. The other profound thing that Bell's mathematical constructs show is that the action of a subatomic particle is dependent on something happening somewhere else to another subatomic particle. In other words, all subatomic events are effects of others and causes of others. This brings the law of cause and effect, or karma, of reaping and sowing to a completely new light. The law of cause and effect, karma, is not only spiritual but also scientific. All along, we have said that all the universe's thoughts, individually and collectively, cause the energy to form into the physical reality we experience. This is so, but there is an even stronger cause. This is being, the state of being. There are many states of being, such as being happy, fast, wealthy, and so on. This is the strongest cause, the first cause of all. It is so because it is the declaration of spirit, of self. From a state follows certain thoughts pertaining to that state. Here is another way of looking at how we are all one. Science shows us that everything is made up of energy and exchanges that energy with everything else at all times in a most complex way. Energy is the building block of all matter. The same energy that composes your flesh is the same one that composes the bricks of your house and the trees outside. There is no energy of the tree and energy of the man. It is all the same energy. Energy is constantly at flow, changing form all the time. This is a very simple explanation of a rather complex thing. At the quantum level, it all looks like one large pool of energy soup. An ocean of energy, one that is always flowing, one that has different concentrations and essences at various points. Imagine an ocean with a warm spot, a turbulent spot, and so on. The ocean represents the energy soup, and the spots represent various physical objects, such as your body or a tree. The warm spot exchanges water molecules with the rest of the ocean. The turbulent spot also exchanges water molecules with the rest of the ocean. But the essence of that warm spot remains warm, and of the turbulent spot remains turbulent. There is exchange and flow on a molecular level, but on the larger levels, the spots remain warm or turbulent, even though the molecules that composed them a moment ago are gone and replaced by others from other regions. The molecules in a warm spot change, but the essence or characteristics of that spot remain warmth. The characteristics of a region can remain the same, even though the particles forming that region are always different, leaving and entering it from other regions. This is how we look like on a quantum level, one large interconnected field of energy with localizations of characteristics. We share the same energy with everything else, even though we assume unique characteristics. It is a very complex matrix, a complex web. Now let's get a little more complicated than the ocean, for it cannot serve our explanations further. Imagine now that there are two people in a room. They are both gloomy and sad. Their energy level is low. One tells a joke and the other one laughs. The one telling a joke causes the one who starts to laugh to raise his or her energy level and become vibrant. Laugh. This makes the one telling a joke laugh because there is new joy in the air and they are sharing a joke. Person A caused a change in person B and it went back to cause a change in A. Now have you noticed how you feel great after you tell jokes to many people and they laugh? How it feels greater than telling to one person only? And those people take your joke and they tell it on and on to other friends and friends of friends, and it spreads. Well, the universe is a whole lot more complicated than that. A shift on one part of the massive field of energy ripples on and causes shifts in the parts next to it, and they cause shifts in the part next to them, and the ripple goes on forever. Can you imagine that? Your smile changes the composition of an entire universe, scientifically. Your anger does the same. Anything you do, any thought you have, ripples on forever and changes the composition of the whole universe, however small that change is. Now here is something even more interesting. Because you're a part of that universe, that ripple comes back to you and gives you back a dose of similar essence. You cause a change in the energy field around and in you, and it ripples, touching everything. And everything, of course, ripples back in reaction, sending it back to you all multiplied. It is similar to the way ripples form in expanding circles when you dip your finger in a glass of calm water. But these waves go forever, and also bump into other energy localizations and cause changes in them, and these react, so to speak, and send back their own waves, and these sent back waves hit you and change you, and you react, and this amazing dance goes on and on. That is how, scientifically, the law of cause and effect works, and works multiplicatively. This happens on an energy level and on a spirit level. In both cases, the betterment of one individual in the system causes a betterment of the whole system, and betterment in the whole system causes betterment in the individual. The reverse is also true. All other things held constant, to the extent that an individual or society understands what they and their universe are made of and learns how to control that creation, so will they have wealth and happiness. That is our brief introduction into the stuff we are all made of. Do not worry if something did not make sense. It will make sense later as you go on with this program and listen to other things that are related to it. You do not need to master quantum physics to be wealthy. This chapter is enough. The point of this chapter was simply to show you what your world really is and begin to show you that you are in very direct control of it. The rest of this program will show you how to exercise that control and read the feedback it gives you. But in case you wish to learn more about quantum physics specifically, please feel free to do so. To learn more about quantum physics, visit www.imagesofone.com for more resources such as videos, articles, and book recommendations. Quantum physics shows you that the world is not the hard and unchangeable thing it may appear to be. Instead, it is a very fluid place continuously built up using our individual and collective thoughts and states of being as a society, country, family, planet, solar system, or universe. We have begun to uncover the illusion. We now know what our four-dimensional experiences are made of, and we have begun to see how we make them. The next step is to know what the other part of our world is, what the fourth dimension, time, really is. It is time to look at time. Let us move on into that.